episode 27 of the Take Two podcast, where today we wrestle with the demons of our own creation. This podcast. Let's go.
All right, Kenny, we are here with episode 29. Wow, almost the big 3-0.
Oh,
Almost as old
29.
as I am.
Insane. I think I maybe accidentally said 27, but 29 is where we're at.
29 is where we're at, yeah. Kenny's still at 27. But we as a podcast have moved forward to 29.
Yes, I stopped aging.
And we're reviewing Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which, Kenny, your recommendation, I had to get Netflix again just to watch this Frankenstein movie. So
such a sacrifice.
Yeah, such a sacrifice. Look at the commitment. So yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about Guillermo del Toro? You've seen more movies of his than I have, and I think it's fair that we touch on him a little bit and kind of his vibes before we jump into reviewing this movie.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro to me is what I would kind of consider a gothic folklore movie maker. He's most famously known for his work in Pacific Rim and Pan's Labyrinth, two totally different movies, but both kind of have this kind of gritty, lots of rain. It's a dark night. Very both have just very heavy,
very gothic.
Yeah, very just lots of Edgar Allan Poe vibes.
Yes,
from these movies, but I have seen a lot of Guillermo del Toro's work. I've seen Pan's Labyrinth. I've seen both of the Hellboys. I've seen Shape of Water, which, holy effing heck, that's what a cluster F of a movie that is.
I heard that movie was not great.
Oh my gosh. It's literally about a woman who has sex with a fish man.
That is what I heard.
And have you ever seen, it's literally almost the exact same design as the fish man who's really smart in the Hellboy movies, which is just very off-putting because Abe Sapien is not intended for what happens in that movie. It's crazy.
Of note, since you did bring up that film, what's it called again?
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. I did see, I have to say, one of the funniest tweets of the week that I saw is it had a shot of the girl in Shape of Water, going up against the alien. And then I saw somebody take a photo from Frankenstein where we have the girl up with Frankenstein and they're kind of romantically involved. And somebody was like, it says, Guillermo del Toro understands that women long for beauty buried inside the monstrous. And someone said, what if the monster in one of these was 5'4"? I just thought that was the funniest thing I'd seen in a long time. That really cracked me up.
He really likes tall people. He's really fascinated with this idea of folklore. Obviously Pan's Labyrinth is very much about a woman who is trying to escape
A woman.
A girl.
Okay.
Yeah, a girl, did I say woman? A girl trying to escape the horrors of Franco's Spain in World War II and trying to do that through, going into this labyrinth. He made an animated, not stop motion, but kind of that kind of sketchy form of animation of Pinocchio. Obviously, he's touched comic book movies. He's made a kaiju movie. He's done a lot of things. I personally find that for the most part, he is very hit and miss. Shape of Water didn't really deserve an Oscar. I think, and I actually don't think that's a hot take. I think everyone looking back now was like, okay, we all experienced public hysteria. That was a crazy take by all of us. Maybe not. So he's a really hit and miss guy. And so we come to Frankenstein. And so Frankenstein is a movie that's produced by Netflix. And classic Netflix fashion, was only in theaters, select theaters for maybe a week.
I heard
I
them do
would want,
that, so it could. I heard they did that, as we know they do for their films like Glass Onion and Happy Gilmore 2, whatever, all that stuff. I heard they specifically did it for this one, so it could have consideration for the Oscars for different categories.
yeah,
So
yeah. I think I heard something similar here too. It's still Netflix, please, just you're starting to make some really, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is one of them, but you're starting to make some really like quality movies that deserve to be seen by the masses and d deserve not to just be forgotten. Like Sam, I watched Nona's
yeah, I
on
love
the
No
plane,
Names.
and that was an incredible movie that I feel like should have been in theaters.
It was
Like
very charming.
it's
I think
super.
Nonia's had a place in theaters for sure. I think.
Yeah, super charming, like, low budget. It's just like Netflix, you're losing nothing by not putting it in here other than like sticking a middle finger to movie theaters. But Frankenstein, I come into Frankenstein kind
Hold
of
on, hold on.
ha
On
oh
that
yeah.
note, really quick, with the movie theaters, it's really funny because of all the movies, because I think that's a great note. I think Nunez would have been like, put it, release that at Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's a hit in theaters. I think families will flock to that movie. I'm sitting there, and we will talk in depth about Frankenstein, but like, I'm sitting there like, I don't know how many people are going to go see Frankenstein in theaters. I think,
Yeah.
and that's not a knock on the movie. It's just, it's a tale that's been told many times. It's very classic. It's
Very
very
true.
gothic, very brooding. I don't see teenagers flocking to go see a 2.5 hour Frankenstein film. Like, of all
Mm.
the films, I like they put it in theaters to get Academy Awards nods, but of all the movies to release to streaming, I'm like, this ain't the worst one. I feel like it's not a knock on the movie. It's just
Yeah.
it's hard marketing something like Frankenstein. I feel like.
It definitely is true. It's a story that it's interesting because I think that we can at least I've never seen like Bram Stoker's Dracula, the black and white movie. Um, but at least from all of the Frankenstein content that I have consumed over the years, from Frankenweenie to like like Universal Dark Universe thing, I've never seen a Frankenstein movie that is at least from my recollection, a very close adaptation of the book.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think that was pitched though at all, really, in the when they were doing the marketing for this movie. I'll need to do some more research on if the Oscar thing is why Netflix put it in theaters. But can I start with kind of my general thoughts of the movie?
Yeah, yeah. I think now would be a good time to jump in. Let's do it.
Okay. Oh, before we forget,
Oh yes.
guys, please like and subscribe, like this video, go surprise, go tell a friend, go tell an enemy, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe again. Join our Discord. Honestly, our Discord is probably the funnest thing that like Sam and I have a lot of fun making this podcast, but I really think our Discord has brought a lot of people together who have a lot of, a common love for movies,
and
but have a lot of very,
has even torn people apart. So if you're into that drama,
yeah.
you have
We
that.
have made uh Josh and Sam very famously have made enemies of each other through Discord. I have made friends
Oh,
with someone I never thought I'd make friends with, Glide, a guy I used to hate,
oh,
whom now I've come to, not quite loathe. And so
jeez.
we're really moving up in the world. So yeah, come join our Discord. It's in the link to the description of this video. It's also posted everywhere. It's posted on our profile. But to jump into the movie Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, starring Jacob Elordi and Oscar Isaacs, as well as the dude who plays the Nazi in Inglourious
Oh,
Bastards, that
Christoph
Christoph Waltz,
Waltz. Yeah, Christoph Waltz. And
Mia Goth
Mia Goth. Yeah.
is also in
Of
this
course
movie.
she's in this movie.
Yeah, very it's very much like she's a perfect fit for this
Yeah.
movie. And this movie is really a pretty accurate retelling of the story of Frankenstein, which is not a horror movie. It's a movie about book about a guy, Victor Frankenstein, who wants to recreate life, who wants to be able to defy death, does so, and then ends up becoming the he himself is the monster, not his creation, not Adam. I think in the movie, I don't think he ever actually gets a name. I think he's just called the creature. Um, and we get the story of the creature's life and how the creature is so distinct and different from humanity and, cannot experience some of the fundamental things it is to be human, one of those things being death. The monster cannot die, and he's trying to reconcile what that is when it comes to like what he is, his identity crisis. And so this movie is not scary as much as it is a romance is almost the wrong word for it, but it's very much a feelings movie. It's a movie about Victor
I would call it a
Frankenstein.
tragedy. That's what I would
A,
call
yeah, a tragedy is a great name for this thing. Um, So if you're familiar with like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, there are parts of this movie that the script is literally word for word exactly what is in the book. There are other parts that are a little bit more loosey-goosey, and then there's a very strange Oedipus complex part of this movie as well. To dive into the actors really quick, Sam, Oscar Isaacs didn't really work for
it.
me
Wow,
as
really?
I like Oscar Isaacs most of the time and
I
I
think
kind of
it's Oscar
appreciate
Isaac. I don't think it's a
O-
plural,
Oscar Isaac.
but I
Yeah.
appreciate that you're giving him a plural. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
He gets a plural.
Um,
So,
I'll say this. I'm on the other side of the coin here. I
oh,
think he actually worked really well. I
oh,
think
interesting.
I really thought he was a truly like despicable protagonist and
Yeah.
like really portrayed uh Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, like really well. Like from the get go, he just has no redeeming qualities. Like he's
Hmm.
just, which is actually one of my knocks on the film and his character in general is I think it could have been more effective to have seen a transition, but like he's
Agreed.
just like, and he's just playing the way it was written, but like he is just a dick from the get go, and he is just
Yeah,
an
100%.
egomaniac, like dude trying to play God, like he is. But I really think he's fantastic. Now, real quick, Kenny, have you seen Ex Machina?
I have.
Okay, so I love Ex Machina. It's one of my favorite movies.
Wow, a
I
great comparison actually to this
yes,
movie.
I
That's
couldn't.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, as I'm watching the film, I couldn't help but think, okay, he did Ex Machina, which truly is Frankenstein in the
It is a
future,
Frankenstein
and
movie.
then he
Yeah.
went back and to his roots and just played actually Frankenstein. So I thought that was really interesting.
The
Um,
thing, the biggest difference for me there is, I want to say his character in that movie in Ex Machina is Caleb. I'd have to go back and check, but in that movie, he is like a billionaire weirdo, but he kind of comes across with this like philanthropic air, and it takes Donald Gleason's character kind of going through and finding out
yeah,
things
yeah,
about
he's well,
Caleb
and
that
that's
actually turn.
totally. And let's not spoil that movie too much, but I will say, like, obviously you haven't seen Ex Machina, you need to go see it, but because it's amazing. But that goes back to my criticism of this film is we don't see any sort of transition, like you just mentioned, which we get to see.
100%.
There's a lot more mystery in Ex Machina as to what is going on here, and who is this guy,
Yeah.
and what's his motivations, and so I thought Oscar Isaac actually crushed it. He was in the news recently too. That was something I actually wanted to bring up. So maybe quick sidebar on Oscar Isaac. Like I like him. I think he's awesome. I thought he was the like Loki, kind of the best character in the new Star Wars films. Like he was
Yeah.
kind of the Han Solo esque character. I think he was like the best actor in all those films too. Besides, you could say like Adam Driver is probably has a greater resume, but I don't think his acting chops were like necessarily the highlight as Kylo Ren
They
of
didn't
those
give him
films.
quite as much to work with, I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. Like I'm not blaming Adam Driver by any means, but yeah, he was in the news recently because of this film, and he was getting interviewed. And I did find it interesting. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll save this till the end. We can talk about this at the end. But I do want to talk about Oscar Isaac at the end. I don't want to
Okay.
derail too hard here. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought he was great, and I don't know who it is, but whoever played Frankenstein's monster, I thought did an incredible job. I was actually
Jacob Elordi. Yeah.
okay. I don't know who that is, but he did an amazing job. I thought Mia Goth was great. I thought Christoph Waltz was great. I thought everyone nailed everything. Here's like let me give you my like quick 2 cents on this whole film. Is like setting amazing, costume and design amazing. I read something that said it took like 7 hours to apply the makeup to like Frankenstein's monster every time.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like the setting is so beautiful, so gothic. The colors he pulls out are so rich. Like to me, this is one of those movies done in the modern era that I'm like, okay, it could be done again, sure, but if you ever had to say, like, is anyone really gonna go do a classic Frankenstein better than this film? I don't know. It feels really spot on. Like
Hmm.
it's scary in certain ways, not necessarily horror wise, but it keeps you on edge like from time to time. And there is actually a decent amount of gore and frightening things that happen kind of throughout where you're like,
Oh,
oh,
for
I
sure.
did not really want to see that. Um, the other thing I would say is like it's very long. It's like 2.5 hours. And that's how I felt about Pan's Labyrinth. Like Pan's Labyrinth gets a lot of rave, and I liked Pan's Labyrinth, but very similarly, I'm like, man, this is stretched out. Like he really stretches things out. And it's not that it's bad. It's just like he doesn't quite have that skill to like tighten things up a little bit, which is a little surprising with a film like Frankenstein, where like beginning to end, you wouldn't say that there's like an insane amount that happens, but he does like to stretch his storytelling out. So like at the end of the day, it's like I liked the movie. If anyone ever came to me and was like, "Oh, is there a good Frankenstein movie?" I'm like, "This is the best Frankenstein movie. It's such a great Frankenstein movie." But I'm like, I was like kind of looking at my wristwatch that I don't own from time to time, wondering when it was like how much longer it was gonna go on for. Like, yeah, I kind of was. So like that's kind of where I'm at on the movie. I liked
Yeah.
it. I don't think it would have done well in theaters, but I'm like, this guy just made like the best classic Frankenstein movie maybe ever. I thought he looked cool. I thought Frankenstein's monster looked
Frank.
cool.
Yeah, for sure. I I I don't. I'm kind of with you where it's maybe too long, but the one thing that you can say is I still felt like it was well paced to
Yeah.
where I don't necessarily know if I felt like it was dragging. I probably could have used because they ended up not really going through any sort of like character arc with Victor Frankenstein. I feel like I probably could have used that part to be a little bit shorter
Mhm.
because the movie really shines when you finally get to Adam, when you get to
It
the
does.
creature and you like, I mean, Jacob Elordi in real life is a very tall, very handsome man, and the creature is not, he's grotesque in a way, but he's also just like really like you're drawn to him on screen, like you just can't really look away, which
True.
I think that like where this movie is going to shine in the Oscars really is like if it doesn't win. I,
Costume,
I mean, I
makeup.
haven't seen every single movie possible this year, but costume and makeup, I just feel like it's almost a shoo-in. I
I
just
agree.
can't think of another movie.
I agree. Oh,
Uh,
Josh in the chat says, as a movie, this movie was good. 3 out of 5, he says. I think the movie completely choked it as an adaptation in the final scenes. I thought Del Toro really chickened out and tried to make the ending more palatable. Here's one thing I'll say about that. Okay, I read Frankenstein back in my like sophomore year of college. It was a long time ago for some lit class or whatever. And um, to go off what you were saying, Kenny, I think could have maybe shortened Dr. Frankenstein's part a little bit because in the book it does go more into as far as I remember, more of Frankenstein's monster and sort of his experiences more so with society, and we get to see more commentaries on society. Where, like you said,
Hmm.
I felt like there was a lot on Victor Frankenstein. We kind of knew his character, and nothing really changed there. And we got to basically see Frankenstein's monster like at this cabin near the woods, and we got to see his kind of take on society, but it was really minuscule. Like we could have seen him in a lot more situations. Almost, if I recall the book, it's almost not this far, but like almost like Gulliver Travels type of thing, where it's like, okay, we get to see him in one situation, we get to see him, and it's all societies and different people reacting to seeing this like kind of scary physical creature, and like what that says about society, and who the monster is in the book. Is it society? Is it Victor Frankenstein? Is the actual physical monster itself? Josh also says, yes, very true. This movie completely did away with the thought-provoking social commentary element of the book. Yeah, that was one thing I kind of missed. The other thing I will say is something we talked about in the Discord. Join the Discord if Kenny hasn't already plugged that, which he did. Is I think it's important to separate the book from the film as well. It's tough knowing, coming from that background and being like, oh, they butchered this. Like, I get what Josh is saying, but at the same time, I'm like, 99.9% of people will not have read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So it's like we kind of just have to take Guillermo del Toro's like ending as it is, like, and
Yeah, I would maybe push back a little bit against that just because he had gone through so many efforts to stay true to the book. And so it's weird to alter there at the end. And and there's several things where it is altering. I don't really recall if in the at least it was a surprise to me this time around, and maybe when I read Frankenstein the first time I was just like naive, but I really don't recall like his really strange infatuation with his mother
yes, the Oedipus
in the book at all,
complex.
and that like it's done so clearly as a weird Freudian
Very
or
much so.
Oedipus thing where Mia Goth literally also plays his mother, and then when he sees Mia Goth as her character as the bride, he is just like instantly in love with her. It's just very strange and just off-putting. Again, like Frankenstein didn't something that like if we're gonna play the oh how to fix the movie thing as a movie part,
Mhm.
I would actually feel as though if they were to do that scene of him at Oxford or whatever, like no name college that he is at, he like if they would have done that in such a way to where he was pitching it as this like philanthropic enterprise of like we could
Yes.
end poverty and sickness, like look at what we
Cancer, yeah.
could, yeah, here's what we would be able to do for people. Instead he's like, no, we can become God.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's just like, okay, dude, you're just like the worst marketer of all time. You literally found out how to like reanimate human cells, and you're just pitching this weird mega like people are honestly not freaking out enough in that room. There
yeah,
are
no,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
only
Very
it's
true.
only at the very end where they're like, oh my gosh, no, like you're interfering with God's design, and it's like done in such a way where it feels so shallow that you're like, wait, is Guillermo del Toro trying to pitch us the idea that we should actually be on Frankenstein's side right now? It was just that
Yeah,
was just
true.
I felt like that was superly strange. Like it was just a very strange tone.
Josh says I didn't even notice me and Goth played both. I also didn't notice, so that's also a shocker to me. Josh, you're not alone. That like I got the Oedipus complex, but I didn't. I honestly didn't notice that. So
Yeah,
maybe credit to
it was
him.
something that I had read. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
think that they it was not some like I'm not I was and I saw it on the big screen. It probably was something that my buddy Jake who saw the movie probably noticed. I just didn't, but I saw it later. I was like, "Oh, yeah, of course Mia Goth is also playing his mother," which just kind of again emphasizes the whole thing. Um
Can we quick thing on Guillermo del Toro? I did see something I wanted to get your 2 cents on this. Okay. I thought this Guillermo del Toro refused to use VFX for the ship in Frankenstein, so they built the ship from scratch. He said the
yeah.
ship is a character. I didn't want the audience to go, "Oh, this is all digital." Once you introduce that, it's like a license for people not to believe things. I thought that was really interesting. I thought the ship looked beautiful.
The
Um,
ship looks great.
yeah, the ship
Everything.
the ship looks great. Here's kind of my question, and this is just kind of a thought I was thinking about. It's like we're in this whole thing where like everyone in Hollywood is crazy anti AI, right? No AI
Mhm.
was used in this film. Okay, sick. Where's the line between AI and spec? Because there's obviously a lot of special effects in this movie, especially like in the
Yeah.
laboratory and everything. So I'm like, where's the line between special effects and AI? And like, is it always getting worse? Like, once we introduce special effects, like, is the film getting worse? And then from there, is AI making it worse? What's going on here? Because Hollywood has this huge pushback against AI right now, but it's like, but special effects are okay. And like I
Yeah.
understand he didn't use them for the ship, and I think that's great, and I love what he said. But there are obviously a lot of special effects in the movie. So I guess my question is like, where is that line?
Yeah. I think that the line is pretty arbitrary. I think that I actually am kind of like pro Hollywood pushing against AI specifically because like the creation of like movies and TV shows too really are the modern form like the prominent form of art that we consume today. Like people aren't really as well. And I actually think that this is changing too, actually through book talk, strangely enough, and people are becoming more versed in literature again.
Mm.
But I think that for the most part, it's movie and TV shows, and anything that is a creative endeavor, in my opinion, especially if it's art for art's sake, needs to be created by a person, just philosophically, because not that
I mean,
AI can't
Lauren
make
told me, and I saw something the other day that said, um, I saw something that said some country song was created by AI, the singer, the voice, the beat, the strum, everything, and it was like number one on the billboards.
yeah. I'm not saying that an AI can't make something good. I'm not even saying that like, my Google Chrome background is like an AI generated image that, I think is like pretty impressive and it looks good, but I think that from the philosophical standpoint of it's not art is something that's supposed to tie you to the human condition, and anything that is not human can't really tie you to it.
I agree.
Which does
That no, I
which kind of
agree.
like goes back to the
That's
which
it.
kind of goes
Because
back to
I
the
don't feel we
yeah,
have AI everywhere right now. It's like I don't feel any soul in AI. It's just
yeah.
like it's just like looking in like a mirror in a fun house. Like that's what I feel
Mhm.
like AI is. And it's like they can
Yeah.
make something that like imitates what they think people like. But like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, there's just no soul there.
Yeah. And VFX I think are I think that we're in the pickle now because VFX also back in the day like took a lot of craftsmen's jobs when
Yes, that's what
computers
I'm
were
saying.
becoming big. And I think that you can make a very like I'm glad that we're making this stance now about AI because arguably it should have been made back in the day. Not that again, I watch a lot of VFX things and I think that it's awesome and can create an awesome like stunning case. And it's also kind of funny that he's kind of riding his high horse on this when I think everything in the Arctic looks absolutely stunning. It's the part of the movie that truly looked the best in theaters.
Hmm.
But then I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 90% sure that Frankenstein's tower is all CG.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. Like the tower, like
So,
it all looks CGI'd. And like I'm not
yeah,
saying it looks bad, it fits his setting, and he's able to blend it sort of with like his color and style, and I feel like it works well off each other, but like you
yeah,
can tell, right?
right.
Like you can tell.
And it was still like, I think that VFX is slightly different from AI to where it is a tool that an artist can use. And so I don't necessarily, even though I think that often VFX does kind of lose the soul a little bit, like
I think it does. I think it
I
is a
lo
drop down from an
yeah,
actual set because I think of films like go back and think to like a film like The Goonies, right? Like
right.
Spielberg, like everything is handmade and handcrafted, and you can feel it in every scene. And like you can feel just this
Yeah.
charm in every single scene. And even I like more modern, like I remember seeing something about Chris Nolan. Chris Nolan said like they asked him about his movies, and he was like, you know what movie he said like I feel like I made that doesn't get enough credit is The Dark Knight Rises. He said like some of the stuff we did on that film like has never been done in film before. It's like we took an airplane, like a real airplane, and we moved it and turned it like on its head and shot this thing through an airplane and like that
Right.
we made. And like, you know, at a time where people were just starting to use special effects for it. And it's like, yeah, you don't think about that sort of stuff, but
Yeah.
you feel it when you're watching Frankenstein. You feel it when you're watching movies. Like you said, like the whole time watching, I'm like, it feels pretty like CGI. Like, yeah, it looks fine, but I'm like, you know, if Hogwarts was all CGI, like I don't think we'd feel good about it. Like I wouldn't. I
Yeah.
don't think it would have the
Hogwarts
like.
wouldn't be the character that it is.
That's
And
what I'm
not that it's not
saying.
enhanced, like you still have the movie staircases, you still have the paintings. Like I think of Lord of the Rings often of like why no other fantasy
Oh,
genre has really been able to capture the magic of Lord of the Rings is of the movie Lord of the Rings because Peter Jackson put so much effort into the costume
and can
design
we
and the
say,
bigatures and stuff. Not to
Kenny?
say there's not CG
No,
in the
no,
movie,
Kenny.
but
That
like
is like the best example you could have made because the Lord of the Rings trilogy, like the Fellowship of the Ring trilogy, is like just 10 out of 10, amazing. Like it's so incredible. Fast forward to the Hobbit series, where it
yeah,
is CGI'd top to bottom, and it's
right.
almost unwatchable. I watched it with Lauren after we watched The Lord of the Rings for what, like the third time, like the trilogy. Like every few years, you gotta throw it out there and rewatch the
You do.
trilogy, and
I
it's
just bought
like,
it on I bought the extended editions on 4K, so
yeah.
I'm
So
really
like,
looking forward to
so
watching this.
you get it, you get it, and so we tried like the Hobbit films are all CGI and it just feels so soulless. You're watching, you're just
Yeah.
like, you see these characters and it just looks like a video game. And you're just like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? Like, we went, and they're like, I remember when those came out, and they're like, Peter Jackson was like, well, you know, it took a lot of time and effort in those other movies, and like, this is a lot more convenient for the actors and for us. Cool. Your movies suck. Like I'm glad like you
Right.
decided to err on the side of convenience instead of like art. So
Yeah.
good job never finding a job again, Peter Jackson. Come on the pod.
Savage. Come on the pod. Oh my dude, if Peter Jackson came on the pod, I would lose my crap. I'd be so
I
pumped.
would lose it on him. I would take him through the entire 45,
Hobbit.
45 minute stupid dinner scene of The Hobbit and put his face right to it. So, anyways,
Back to let's circle back
let's
to
circle back.
Frankenstein. It is I think that there's parts of the movie that are messy, but I came away feeling like I was like, I liked it. Is it the best movie I've seen this year? No. I ended up giving it my classic 7 out
7 out of 10.
of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah. So I ended up giving it 7 out of 10.
Didn't like it.
Primarily,
7 out of 10. Loved it. 7 out of 10. The classic Kenny. 7 out of 10.
that's right.
I love
That's
it.
right.
I love it.
What would you say that you were giving it?
You know what, Kenny? I get to jump aboard the Kenny ship today, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 as well. I came in with a 7 out of 10. I said, Kenny's going to give it a 7 out of 10. But truly, truly, it's like, it's tough. I don't want to rewatch it. I
Yeah.
wasn't, but would I recommend it to a certain person? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was it good in so many ways? Yes. Um, you know, it's kind of long. It's like I feel like it's better than a 6 as a film. It's not an 8 because like I don't want to come back to it. I wasn't just like
It's
entertained. I didn't like love it. Like, but like I feel like it deserves a 7 out of 10. Like
it
I
is a
feel
C
like
minus movie. Like it
C minus. Jeez, that's so rude.
well, it's 70%, right? Like it's passing. You can recommend it. Like I think that it's I think that 7 out of 10 is just kind of smack dab where it lands.
I agree. I think like
Because there's other things about it that aren't necessarily particularly stand out. Like it's not like it has a crazy score.
Yeah.
I do think the acting is quite good, but I don't
I
think
think
any
the
of the
score's
act.
all right, but yeah,
Yeah,
nothing unique, right?
yeah,
It's not like we've got
yeah.
what's his name from Star Wars out here.
Oh yeah, you don't have John
John
Williams
Williams, yeah. We
up
can't
in the
have John
score.
Williams in here.
Yeah. I think Jacob Elordi is great and did a great acting job. He ends up on a nominee list
Yeah.
somewhere during the Oscar season, but his is I think that his is the best performance, and everyone else put in like a good performance. I even think that Oscar Isaac put in a good performance. I just don't think that like him playing Victor Frankenstein really worked for me. I actually kind of would have wished that Christoph Waltz did play
Oh, I could
Victor
have seen it. You could
Frankenstein.
have seen it, but he did a good job too. And
He did too.
I liked Oscar Isaac as um Frankenstein. But like you said, maybe Guillermo del Toro, can we give him a little bit more to work with as far as a character arc? I think that's maybe the
Hmm.
turn that because he is a really good actor. Speaking
For
of
sure.
him, okay, as we move away from Frankenstein,
Yeah,
7 out of 10. We've never been more aligned on a movie. So 7 out of 10.
it's crazy. We did it.
And I'll really say, like, I don't know who exactly this movie is for. Like, that's my last
Yeah.
thing I'll say. Like, I don't know who who's going on Netflix truly
Yeah.
and watching this movie like in the masses. So
Which is interesting because have you heard of The Bride, the movie that is coming out, I believe, next March?
no,
It
like the
is
Bride
it
of
is
Frankenstein
a
type thing, or
yes, it
really?
is a Maggie Gyllenhaal directed movie.
Oh wow,
It has her brother Jake Gyllenhaal, and Christian Bale is
wow.
playing the monster, and Jesse Buckley, I want to say. I might be getting my Jessies mixed up. Someone in the chat put it in there to
Jesse
make
McCartney,
the yeah, yeah. Jesse McCartney
he's back.
is playing the bride. It's very interesting that this for whatever reason this just tends to happen where like a random story from the zeitgeist will kind of come back
Yeah,
around
it's
and we'll
like
get like four of them for some reason.
right.
I don't
Like,
know why
what did
that
we
is. It's a
have?
very
Four
weird
like
Hollywood phenomenon.
Dracula movies in the last year. Like, I swear. And
Yeah.
I will say, I watched the new Nosferatu this year,
Yeah.
and that's Dracula in a nutshell, and like
You loved that movie.
it was great, 8 out of 10. And like the difference between Nosferatu and this movie is like Frankenstein is just a straight tragedy. But like Nosferatu, like it's scary. Like it really is like unnerving and gothic and pretty freaky. Josh said, I think I saw 1 million people have already logged this movie on Letterboxd. It is the perfect movie for the Letterboxd Bros. Josh could not be more spot on there, right? Like this is such a movie for the Letterboxd Bros, where it's like most people aren't going to see it, but there's been hype in the film industry, the chatterboxes, and so people got to go see it and give their 2 cents on it. So that is a great shout out. I will say about Oscar Isaac. Now that let's jump into the next section. We're just going to cover a few fun
Yeah,
things here.
yeah.
So one thing, and I just wanted to get your 2 cents on this, Kenny. So not to get too political with this one, none of the other stuff really should be, but okay, I saw Oscar Isaac being interviewed, and he said he's currently not open to working with Disney. He said if they can kind of figure it out and, not succumb to fascism, that would be great. So I found that interesting. I find this weird sort of thing going on in Hollywood where obviously he's referring to like the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Do you know about that whole thing? It's like
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel got pulled off the air for a few days because he made fun of like Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Like, and they got pulled off the air like by Disney. You know why? Because like I think about 99% of the people in America would say that was a horrible thing that happened, and like we shouldn't be making light of it like days after it happened. And I think to me there are people like Jimmy Kimmel so in their bubble that they don't realize like just how sensitive something like that is. And so I think, and honestly, hopefully for Jimmy Kimmel, like I know he's like super woke and stuff, but like hopefully to some extent, like maybe that was a little wake up call for him, like to be like, hey, whoa, maybe like I am crossing the line a little bit, and like this is supposed to be like, to an extent, like a late night family show, and like probably not cool to make fun of people who were like publicly assassinated,
Yeah.
like for nothing, right? And so
And it's the
now,
nature of like if you're on show like on TV as often as he is, and it's a comedy show, there's just the reality of at some point you're gonna make a pretty bad mistake. In which case he
right,
did.
but and let's just it's been a year though of like late night shows, like ratings have been tanking because they've gotten so political. It's like we've gotten to a point where it's like the late night shows I used to watch growing up with my parents, like there was almost none of that. It was like it was the time to get away from that stuff and make fun of the celebrities. So it was like that doesn't feel like it's happening. It's like we've stopped making fun of celebrities, like Hollywood stopped making fun of itself. It's like all turned political. And so now this
Hmm.
isn't to go on that whole rant, but here's the thing is like Jimmy Kimmel was suspended by Disney. Disney, like, let's be clear, Disney and Donald Trump do not like each other. Okay,
Yeah.
like they're on opposite sides of the spectrum. Disney made an executive decision to say we're going to pull you. Like, can you fix your act? Jimmy Kimmel said yes, and they put him back on. Okay, Hollywood took it as this huge sign, like Trump is friends with Disney and like called in a favor to like have him pulled off the air. Like that's not the case. So like my only thing
Yeah.
here is like Oscar Isaac, Disney made you through Star Wars. Like I'm not saying you're not a great actor, but like, Disney made you through Star Wars, and you're gonna clap back at them and say you're not willing to work for them because a late night host like was taking shots, metaphorically speaking, at Charlie Kirk after his death, like immediately. Come on, like let's wake up a little bit.
Yeah, there are probably other fascists. My take on it is I don't know when he made that comment. I don't know if it's been specifically tied to Charlie Kirk or not. If it was more recent, I kind of would have a sense that almost it wouldn't be tied to that. And there's times that like for example, when I saw that Disney is 10 years after making what I think to be an animated masterpiece in Moana,
Oh,
they are releasing a
masterpiece.
shot for shot
Yes,
live action of
yes.
Moana 10 years later. To
Mhm.
me, in my mind, I said, those fascists. So,
No, I
I'm
thought that it was like specifically related to that. So
okay, yeah. So, but it's one of those things where it's just like,
fascist is
yeah,
the word
it's just
fascist
like a
being thrown around.
misunderstanding of the
I think the
situation to
word
where Disney is
fascist
going,
gets thrown around a lot, and these
yeah,
like Hollywood puff actors are just like, they're so dramatic with everything, right? The fact, oh, you mean the CEO that like doesn't want like everyone canceling Disney Plus? Like, dude, that's his job. Like,
right, yeah,
I don't know if he's a fascist because he's making a like
yeah,
decision that he's paid tens of $1 millions a year to
yeah.
make. Like, what?
Yeah. Like, I mean, hey, maybe the shareholders are fascist. I don't know, but like, yeah, it's a weird take. It's a bad take on his part. And also, you're right. Like, we're throwing the word fascist around, which, hey, by the way, everyone should be anti-fascist. I think that we can all agree that like fascism is not okay. No one should be fascist. However, fascist doesn't it's like the Inigo Montoya thing. That word does not mean what you think it
Yeah,
means
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a lot of cases. It's like, okay, are you saying that like Disney is like a radical nationalist company? It's very strange.
Yeah.
It just a yeah,
And also
weird.
to me, I'm like, and the last thing I'll say, I know we can move on. It's like, dude, again, these people made you. They gave you like your career, like the biggest like checks you've ever cashed. Like,
Yeah.
really, you're gonna like? And listen, I'm no
It's
lover
the
of,
same
of
thing with
modern
like the whole
Disney,
J.K.
but like, come on.
Rowling thing, right? Where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like
exactly, exactly.
yeah, it's a similar thing of biting the hand that feeds you is probably a strong
Yes.
word because like yeah, like if you don't want to work with someone because you have like a moral, a disagreement with them, I think that that's like noble. I think that that would actually be better for the world if people didn't just say, yeah, I'll do whatever the company I work for tells me to do. It's like no, like stand up for what you believe in. I think that that's all well and good, but to just kind of put this out here as a nice little soundbite, it's no, not thought through, not
It's not
thoughtful.
thought through. No,
It's not thought
I think
through.
you said that right, Kenny. It's not thought through. Okay, so three other things I want to cover real quick. We can go quickly on these, but Stranger Things 5 preview. I saw like a preview scene of it with Millie Bobby Brown doing like a 1980s sort of like training cutscene. Did you see the thing going around?
No, dude, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my take on Stranger Things. I watched the first three seasons, absolutely adored the first three seasons. But these guys took way too damn long. And I'm out. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't do this. And I don't like the fact that this weird precedent that we're starting to set of, hey, it's okay for TV shows to come out 4 years later over. It's like there's literally no amount of money that is worth that. It's like get your act together, get things done quickly. In the time between season 4 and 5, Millie Bobby Brown has gotten married and adopted a child. She has a child. She's 20 something now. Like she's not even a kid. And I feel like that just you've totally lost the effect on here, and it might be a great season. I'm not trying to say that's not going to be a great season, but I am just not willing to with all of the good TV and stuff that's out there, I'm just not really willing to wait. I'm sorry. Like if I mean,
Listen. I
the
agree.
Duffer Brothers don't really care about me at all, and that is totally their prerogative. I think they should care about me, but it's just I'm not going to be spending my time like even movies can get turned around faster than that.
Can I?
Unless you're Matt Reeves writing The Batman Part 2,
Oh my
which is a movie that will never
god.
come out.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'll pile on top of that and say, listen. I get the vibe that the Duffer Brothers think much more highly of themselves than I think everyone else does. They had
Yeah.
one of the first Netflix hits, and I think they've been holding on to that golden nugget and making it extend as long as possible. And props to them financially for doing that. But I'm in the same boat, right? I watched the first season, loved it, 8 out of 10. I thought the
Yeah.
second season was trash. And what's funny is I felt like they rushed the second season out after the first season because it was 6 I give the second season like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then I heard it's all ending with season three. They made a promise. It's over. We're done. Watch season three, 7 out of 10. Really liked it. Brought me back. Oh, you know what? The ratings did pretty good there. So actually, season four is going to be coming out. And I was saying to you guys, no, 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 no. You end
Yeah.
it where you planned to end it. I've seen enough. I've heard enough. And everyone's like, season four is great. Season five is going to be
Yeah.
so over Stranger Things before it's
Yeah.
even over. And I saw this preview and it looked like the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. First off, all the kids, like you said, in real time, it's only been a couple years, but they all look like they've grown like 3 feet. They're all giants now.
Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown is running through this preview scene. Of course, the '80s O's. Man, how much have they milked like the nostalgia of the '80s? It's going to drive me nuts at this point. She's got to be the most unathletic runner I've ever seen in my life. And I have nothing against Millie Bobby Brown, but dear Lord, does that look bad? It just
Yeah.
looked hilariously bad.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like to the point where I'm pretty sure Millie Bobby Brown is now the age like she is now older than Maya Hawke was when Maya Hawke was first introduced on the show.
Yeah, and it's just getting
This is too
ridiculous.
long. And it's one of those things I think that like we have a lot to thank the Duffer Brothers for. The Duffer Brothers and the Game of Thrones guys really issued in for better or worse. Maybe we have a lot to credit them for if you don't want to say be thankful for. But those two groups of folks are why we have modern television the way we have them. Like truly, you got the first Netflix hit, you have the first like gritty fantasy, and look at what people have been trying to recapture the magic of ever since is those two things. And unfortunately for both, they got too high on their own supply,
yes.
and also they've now been around too long to where this thing that was so foundational that they invented, like it's their thing and it's true to who they are, but unfortunately it's now become cliched. And that's just, and I think that that's part of the detriment of them waiting as long as they did is like, okay, you waited. I mean, it's been what? how long has it been since season one?
Dude,
It's over
yeah, I
10 years,
was gonna
right?
say 10 plus years. Like it's getting
I think it came out
absurd.
when I was in high school, so it's like 10, 12 years, and they they just waited too long, and now it's like, I'm sorry, but a lot of people probably aren't going to watch it because it's
We're over
cliched and they
it,
don't have the same
Duffer
type.
Brothers. We're over it.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh says Kiss Mary Kill. Frankenstein's monster, the Predator, or Vecna. Who's Vecna? What's Vecna?
No idea who Vecna
Okay,
is.
well,
Josh, who's Vecna?
probably some weird
I don't even.
hentai thing that Josh is into. Anyways, if I know him,
Rude.
okay. Last, two more things. One more, real quick. I just want to get your 2 cents on this, Kenny. Oh, Stranger Things villain. Oh, okay, yeah. We didn't get to season
Oh,
4, so we don't know. I've
obviously
seen that.
Frankenstein's monster. That's like,
But no. It's kiss. You kiss one, Kenny.
oh,
Kiss is short for something else, and then marry, and then kill.
okay.
I kill the predator. Obviously, can't trust that guy.
No, I married the Predator.
I kiss Frankenstein's monster. He was an attractive monster in the movie. I don't swing that way. But as far as monsters went, he couldn't have made a.
He's literally tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, he made an incredibly handsome Frankenstein. Like Mia Goth is instantly like drooling over him in the.
Oh yeah, she wants to pounce. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh,
That's also a very weird part of that movie.
yeah, she's
But yeah,
the eyebrowless wonder. Anyways, real quick, 2 more things I want to touch on. One, Superman for Best Picture. James Gunn wants it nominated for Best Picture. Come on, what are we doing here?
it's obviously this is obviously a media stunt on him. Like
Yeah,
Gunn is the king of this like word of mouth Twitter thing. I think that what he is doing is actually really interesting and fun to watch, even though Superman isn't like a perfect movie and absolutely has no reason being in any Oscar race whatsoever. Not that there's not things that it could win for, visual effects, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe
yeah.
even score. I thought like the adaptation of the score was interesting. Um, I think that he's just like, hey, remember when Superman came out? And now everyone's like, they're either gonna be like, oh wait, is it award season? And James Gunn thinks that Superman's legitimately an awards contender. Maybe I should go check that out.
Oh,
Or
come on, no
uh,
one's thinking that.
or are they saying like, "Oh my gosh, what a stupid thing to say," but oh yeah, I forgot about this movie. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
go back and watch it again.
maybe HBO Max needs an uptick in its subscribers, and they threw him 50 grand to throw a tweet out
Yeah.
there. I don't
I
know.
don't think that he's genuinely like this movie should be an Oscar
I
race.
know.
I
I'm
think that
just
he just
like,
wants
come on, man. Like, it's fine. It's fine. He's kind of a clown. Like, he
yeah.
really is. He is kind of a clown. And I think you're right. I think he kind of knows it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and he's doing something with DC over. DC's a mess, but like, he's doing something to draw some color and interest to DC.
Yeah.
So, credit to
And
him,
I
I
will
guess.
say the more I've thought about Superman, the more I'm like, even though I think that there was a lot of hype around it and a lot of dogging on Fantastic Four when those two movies came out, which man, I really I don't like how we compare. Like, I know they came out around the same time and you were only ever going to compare them, but movies should just be experienced in and of themselves.
No, that is
Um,
incorrect. Okay, now I want to move on to our last thing really quick, and one more thing I wanted to get your 2 cents on, Kenny. I don't know if you saw this, but I did find it interesting because I saw a thing that went viral, and it had like over 11 million views, and it was like kind of a big deal from some like random small account on Twitter, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And I wanted to get your 2 cents on this. And I'm kind of back and forth on it, so I won't completely spoil my views, and I might know yours, but let's just ask it. So I don't know if you saw this, but there's a Netflix series, okay, that apparently came out. It's called Death by Lightning. I've never heard of it. Okay, whatever. It's set in Chicago in 1880, and the establishing scene popped up. And this viewer noticed this. He said, in the foreground, there's an Asian woman, 2 black men, and a one-legged man all walking together downtown. And they did the like stats on like the possibility of this even happening the other night, and they were like, in like the billions, just like something ridiculous. Okay. And so this giant debate has erupted. Okay. And it's on the one side, you have people that are like, why you looking? Why you care? Like, why does it matter? And the guy's basically like critiquing, saying, like, hey, if you're gonna do like a historical film, let's try and like the quality of the film is lowered if you're not paying attention to those sorts of things. And so that's kind of one argument is like, should we be judgmental over these things, or should we just like blatantly ignore these things and just kind of like not think twice
Yeah.
about that?
No, I definitely don't think that you should just ignore those things. I think that inclusion for inclusion's sake is not wrong. I think that it's noble in a way, but it's not really elevated. It's not what we would expect from art. And so, in my mind, there is nothing necessary like a historical film is, you can kind of get into the nitty-gritty about that. Like, I'm someone who genuinely likes Hamilton, and Hamilton is like, is played by like a majority, if not all black cast.
And that's a
And like George
creative
Watt,
decision, though, right? Like that
right,
is
and
like a
that's a
play that
creative
was
decision because you're trying to like
original,
display
and that's an originally written thing. That's like, hey,
right.
this is very intentional.
Yeah. And I think that if you were to do the same thing here, it would be different. It's like it's one of those things where I don't like when we tokenize that sort of stuff. And I feel like a lot of times, even when we talk about like gay characters or whatever, you just like find out halfway through the movie, it's like, oh, I'm gay. It's like great, like that does nothing
Yeah,
for me in
great,
terms of your character.
great. We checked the
Or like
box.
yeah, you're literally just checking a box and you're tokenizing and you're actually kind of demeaning a lot of these, demeaning a minority to where it's like, oh, look, here are these four people who are all different and have different backgrounds. And that's all you ever see of them. And those are the only minorities in the movie. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's just like very clearly trying to check certain boxes that is just like so disingenuous. And honestly, like okay, I am not a minority in pretty much any sense of the word,
No, go
but
on, go on. Talk about
I would
your
feel I would
minorityness.
feel
Go on.
offended in that way. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is like if I were in those shoes, like if I did have a handicap or if I was a minority, then I'd be like, okay, that's what you're gonna give me, and you're not actually gonna make me a part of your story. I just find that to be kind of rude. I just think that that's rude, and I think that that's frustrating. And I think that like if his point is, oh, like hey, if it's a historical movie, it's not going to be very accurate. It's like, yeah, but I mean, we talked about this a while ago. I think it was like one of our very first podcasts where we were talking about, hey, don't get your historical information from movies and understand that everything is going to have, they're going to take liberties with the narrative. But if you're going to do it, it needs to be intentional and for a purpose.
I agree.
Period.
Uh,
Like,
and
yeah,
I think let me say two things in response to that, Kenny. One, I think you made a good point about the gay characters, right? We're in a world where it's like, the Academy Awards change their things. Like you have to have a certain number of DEI in your thing. So you see a lot of characters pop up things that's like, I'm clearly gay and I'm in the cast, so knock that percentage up and now we're nominated. You go back and I tell people who, you know, I have a lot of homophobic friends and they won't watch Game of Thrones. So like there's a lot of stuff out there and it's like they have a lot of sex and there's a lot of stuff like that. And I'm like, and I tell them, you know what I say? I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of sex in Game of Thrones. There's a lot of gay people in Game of Thrones. But you know what I tell them? In Game of Thrones, both of those things always matter. Like
right.
it's never just like, oh, I'm gay. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's gay.
Yeah.
He's hiding it. Or he's not.
Yeah.
And this is why it's
Renly's
complicating the situation.
yeah, Renly's whole story arc is one of the most fascinating ones of what is that, season 4 of Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh my gosh, how is he gonna like get himself out of this pickle?
Yeah.
It
And so,
like
and I think the same thing, like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to watch Game of Thrones because there's a ton of sex. I'm like, guys, the sex in Game of Thrones, like, it's pretty good. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it's integral, right? We watched the first episode, and it's like we have Jaime and Cersei Lannister. All right, pretty disgusting. We see incest sex in the first episode, but like there's a massive meaning and point behind that, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
huge plot inflection point. Like even like Cersei and Drago, like there's a whole episode
Right.
about them having sex, and it's like, but it's a message. It's like, how are they having sex, and what does it say about their relationship, and how do they grow? Like, I just feel like Game of Thrones has done that sort of thing, or it did it very well. So
Yeah.
that's all I'll say about that. I thought it was really, really interesting seeing something go so viral and really seeing two sides, because I'm on the side of like there's a huge side of like, oh, you read into things too much, like you have no life, go touch some grass. I'm like, listen, like, don't be mad at me for like seeing something. Like you can't show me something and tell me, and I notice, and now I'm the bad guy for noticing, right?
Right.
Like I don't like that at all. Like if I see something, it's like that movie. Like I really didn't like the Thursday Murder Club, right? Like there were just so
Yes.
many things wrong with it that I noticed, and like I appreciate like you and Jeremy like, oh, it's just a fun movie. You don't want to think about it too much. It's like the problem is like it's not my fault if I'm noticing things, if I'm
Oh,
thinking
for
about
sure.
it too much. Like that's a movie problem, not a me problem.
Yeah.
So,
And the
anyways,
people who, to kind of close out the idea, the people who do inclusion well, you like, you recognize that it is both inclusive, but also you're not totally taken out of the story. You're
yeah,
like, yeah, that
yes,
totally makes sense. That's exactly what would be, you just you see it and you're like understanding that story in a new way, or you're like, oh, whoa, I would have never thought about it that way because of like my perspective on the world.
right,
And it's those sort of things, but like you don't get any of that from just like having five characters who would likely not be there just cross a road.
right, yep.
Just you wouldn't get it.
So that's kind of the last thing I really wanted to talk about. But I thought it was great. So Frankenstein, 7 out of 10. Stranger Things, we're tired of it. Superman for Best Picture, PR stunt, and DEI in Hollywood. Let's make it appropriate. Let's make it matter if we're gonna do it.
Make it matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's I mean, you could say that writ large about all probably DEI stuff, is like, just make it matter.
make it matter.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
and sub, like, comment, and share, and join the Discord. And thank you for joining us, you guys, for